Oh, I'd like to discuss Gaddafi, the ex-president or leader, or what we would call a dictator of Libya. And he was a very good leader to the Libyan people. And that's why he was vilified by the American government. For several occasions, several reasons he was vilified. For one, he didn't care about America. He didn't care about American influence. And America wanted his oil. Libya has one of the best oils on the planet. To turn into gasoline. It's very clean. It's not dirty. So it's a very desirable, like Nicaragua, Nigeria. Nigeria has very good oil and very prized. And Venezuela too has very prized oil. And so that put him on our radar. And, you know, and what the fatal mistake that he made, why we killed him, is because he was creating like a Libyan currency that you had to buy in order to buy Libyan oil. He wouldn't accept U.S. dollars. And that took him away from the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. And he didn't want loans from the IMF, which was what they do to control small countries. They give you a loan you can't repay, and then they own you. And he wasn't being party to that. So this is why he was assassinated, for no other reason. Uh, all the leaders that have tried to move away from the IMF have been assassinated. And then their predecessor following them takes the loan. They always take the loan because it's a gun to their head if they don't. And they saw what happened to him, so they're not going to do the same thing. So it's basically on those lines. And, Gaddafi was very good to his people. He had free health care for everybody, free education for everybody. And it wasn't like you had to go to Libyan University or something like that. You can go to Harvard. You can go anywhere in the world, and they would pay for you to go to college in another country. Uh, I don't know what the college stipulations were to qualify for that, but I don't believe they were too stringent. Most people got to go if they wanted to, and that was a positive thing for the people of Libya, and they had the oil money, so they had money. So they spent it on their people, and it wasn't like they lived. Gaddafi didn't build castles and mansions all for himself and keep the money to himself, sort of like Saddam Hussein did, or the Shah of Iran did. He took care of his people. He was good to his people, and when they assassinated him, they showed all the people that hated him. Now, I'm not saying there was a lot of people that hated him, because I don't believe there were. Some bought into the propaganda that was being sold by the United States, that he was evil. And they gave those people airtime on the news to say, they were happy Gaddafi was gone and how bad Gaddafi was and stuff. And I'll bet a lot of those people have changed their mind now that they're dealing with the new administration that works for the United States and not for the Libyan people. So, and the people in Libya that were sad that Gaddafi was killed didn't get airtime. They didn't get any airtime. And, it's just very lopsided, one-sided reporting. It's just like the Shah of Iran was our little puppet, which is now, I don't know the name of the puppet in Libya, but we have a puppet in Libya. We have a puppet in Egypt. We have a puppet in Iraq. We're trying to put a puppet in Iran again. And that's why the Iranians hate us, because the Shah stole, which we installed as president of Iran, who was our puppet, and he was stealing the oil and the oil money and enriching himself and hurting the Iranian people, and that's why they overthrew him, and he came here for asylum. Uh, and we were very upset because we lost our puppet regime. And it's still what now we call a terrorist regime, which they're really not. It's just, they don't believe in the things we do, and anybody who doesn't follow our rules or our beliefs are vilified, like Gaddafi, like Saddam. And you have to live in this world the way we want you to live. Otherwise, we're going to take you out. Like Maduro in Venezuela. And it's funny, and all that money in Venezuela needs to go to rebuild Venezuela, but it won't. It's coming into Donald Trump's pocket, because Donald Trump just stole the whole country and the whole oil, all the oil from Venezuela, and he's not giving them anything. They are going to suffer beyond suffer from this earthquake and from being touched by the United States. The worst thing they ever found in Venezuela for the Venezuelan people was oil. I know you think it was the best thing they ever found. It's the worst. It brought them down, 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 because they had something we wanted, and we don't want to pay for it. We just want it. And that's what you get, what you got. Cuba has a precarious situation, being so close to the Florida coast, and that's why we want Cuba to have a gangster paradise with hotels and casinos. And what they were doing before Castro took over Cuba and stopped the gangster paradise from being formed and developed, there was going to be a little Las Vegas in Cuba, and that's what they were building, a little Las Vegas, and they were going to use the Cuban people as slaves to the rich people that go to Cuba and gamble, and the Cuban people were going to be the slaves to clean the rooms and cook the food and all that crap. So Castro put a stop to all of it, rightfully so. Was Castro ruthless? Did he cross the line in a lot of ways? I'm sure he did. But we were going to do much worse. We were going to enslave the Cuban people. So Castro saved them from that. And now we're still trying to enslave the Cuban people and still trying to make a gangster paradise. It won't be a day before we liberate, what we call liberate, Cuba from the Cuban government, that Sands Hotel will be building a casino on the prettiest beach in Cuba. They're probably working it out right now, and waiting to move in, So, and when you have a billionaire SOB running the country, all these billionaire companies aren't any good. And they aren't any good for the people they try to rape their money out of their pockets from, like the Sands Hotel. So, it's just, it's insane. Nicaragua was good for the people. Nicaragua took care of their people. They had free health care, free education, all that stuff. And we attacked them with the Contras. And we supported the Contras. They gave us cocaine, and we gave them guns and weapons of different kinds. And the Iran-Contra scandal, remember? Well, that was us taking, and it was illegal because America officially was not allowed to operate in Nicaragua, and they did it as a black opt, and they did it anyway, and that's why the Iran-Contra scandal erupted. when it was found out. And they used to ship in cocaine to Miami, plane loads of it, and they would empty the plane as quick as possible and get the cocaine off the U.S. Air Force base in Miami, in Florida. They was all different airports. I don't want to say which airport because there was many of them. But, and then the CIA sold the cocaine on the black market, and that's why crack became such a prevalent thing in the world, because crack makes you go through a lot of cocaine very quickly. So it's beneficial to those who are selling cocaine. It's all a scam. If you believe in your government, you might as well believe in the devil. Go worship the devil. The devil won't hurt you as much as your government will. You know, but it's the world we live in. God bless Gaddafi and people like him, because they dare to be different.